The more you chase success, the further it runs from you. The more you seek approval, the less worthy you become. The more you need validation, the weaker you are. This is the paradox no one wants to hear. But it's destroying you right now, and you don't even realize it's happening. You've built your entire sense of self on a foundation that doesn't belong to you. Every decision you make passes through an invisible committee of people whose opinions you've internalized so deeply that you mistake their voices for your own thoughts. Should I take this job? What will they think? Should I say what I actually believe? How will it make me look? You're not living your life. You're curating a performance of a life, and the audience you're performing for doesn't even care enough to stay for the whole show. This isn't new. What's changed is the infinite scale at which you can now seek validation and the sophisticated machinery designed to exploit that need. You're not just seeking approval from people you know. You're seeking it from an endless stream of strangers whose attention has become the only currency that seems to matter. And in that seeking, you've lost something essential: the ability to know yourself without reference to anyone else. There's a principle that a 16th century swordsman understood completely. The moment you need something outside yourself to feel complete, you've already lost. Not because you're weak, but because you've placed your peace in variables you cannot control. He fought over 60 duels and never lost, not because of superior technique, but because he had severed the connection between his self-worth and external outcomes. When he faced the greatest swordsman of his era, he won with a single strike. His opponent was already defeated, consumed by the need to prove his superiority, while the man with nothing to prove simply acted. You are the opposite of this. You wake up already defeated, already performing, already measuring yourself against metrics you didn't choose. Who am I when no one is watching? You've been running from this question your entire life. You fill every gap with noise, with input, with the voices of others. You've become so skilled at reading rooms that you've forgotten how to read yourself. Consider how you make the decisions that actually shape your life. How many were truly yours? How many were made because you feared judgment, craved approval, or needed confirmation you were making the right choice? You've outsourced your judgment to people who don't have to live with the consequences. You've traded autonomy for the comfort of consensus. And now you're trapped in a life that looks good from the outside, but feels hollow from within. This hollowness isn't depression. It's the natural result of building your identity on external validation. When you need others to confirm your worth, you become dependent on their attention. When you need approval to act, you become paralyzed by the possibility of disapproval. You've given away your sovereignty so gradually that you didn't notice it happening. And the system is designed to keep you seeking. Every platform you use exploits your need for validation. Every notification triggers a response. Every metric makes you crave another hit. The likes, the follows, the comments, they're not connection. They're variable ratio reinforcement, the same mechanism that makes gambling addictive. You're being conditioned to seek validation the way a lab rat presses a lever for food. You're trapped in a cycle with no natural endpoint. There's no amount of external validation that will make you feel internally complete. Because what you're actually seeking isn't approval. It's the ability to stop seeking. You want to feel whole without needing constant confirmation. But you can't achieve internal peace through external means. You're trying to quench thirst by looking at pictures of water. The path out isn't complicated, but it is brutally difficult. It requires something most people aren't willing to give: the courage to exist without witnesses. to act without needing acknowledgement, to hold beliefs without requiring validation, to build a sense of self that doesn't require external scaffolding to remain standing. Start with silence. Not the performative kind where you announce you're taking a digital detox. Actual silence. Periods where there's no input, no validation, no external reference points. Just you and your thoughts. Most people can't tolerate this for more than a few minutes. Their minds reach for distraction, for anything to avoid confronting what's actually inside. But this avoidance is the problem. You can't know yourself if you're constantly drowning yourself out with other people's voices. Building a stable core means making choices that serve no external purpose. Reading books you'll never discuss. Developing skills that aren't marketable. Holding beliefs you might never express. Doing things solely because they matter to you, without needing them to matter to anyone else. This feels pointless at first because you're so conditioned to perform that private action feels wasted. But this is exactly the practice you need. Let go of what doesn't serve you. Not physical clutter, but deeper attachments that keep you trapped. Let go of relationships where you perform to maintain connection. Let go of grudges against people who've forgotten you exist. Let go of the need to be right in arguments that don't matter. Let go of past failures you keep rehearsing. Let go of the fantasy that someday some achievement will finally make you feel complete. It won't, because completion doesn't come from outside. Face discomfort deliberately. You've been conditioned to avoid all discomfort, to seek ease at every turn. This has made you weak in your capacity to endure anything difficult. Start small. Cold water, hunger, silence, boredom. Learn to sit with discomfort without reaching for immediate relief. This builds the capacity to make hard choices, to walk difficult paths, to endure temporary suffering for long-term benefit. Most people can't do this. They're slaves to immediate comfort, and this slavery keeps them trapped. Stop waiting for permission. No one is going to validate your choice to live differently. No one is going to approve your decision to stop performing. They can't, because they don't know who you are. They only know the performance you've been giving. That permission will never come from outside. It can only come from within. The paradox resolves itself here. What you're seeking can only exist inside. The strength to stand alone, the clarity to know your own mind, the peace that comes from not needing anything from anyone. These aren't achievements you can earn. They're capacities you build through practice, through choosing yourself repeatedly, even when no one is watching. This is the path, not easy, not comfortable, not validating in the way you're used to seeking validation. There's no one to tell you you're doing it right. No metrics to measure progress. No audience to applaud your efforts. Just you, day after day, choosing to build a self that doesn't require external props to remain standing. But you don't have to be most people. You can choose differently. Starting now, sit in silence for 30 minutes. No input, no validation, no escape. Just you and whatever comes up. If you can do this, if you can face what's inside without running, you've taken the first step. The battle is always internal. Master your need for external validation, and you master yourself. Master yourself, and you master your life. But if you continue seeking outside yourself, you'll die never having found what you were looking for, because it was never out there. The choice was always about will. Either you choose to stop seeking, or you remain trapped. Either you build a self that stands alone, or you remain dependent. Either you face the silence, or you fill it with noise until you forget there was ever anything worth hearing inside. If this shattered something you needed shattered, comment, "I stop seeking." Subscribe for philosophy that refuses to comfort you. I'm the liberated thinker. Stay jiggy